give me some feel for the family that goes back in Happy Days. I have a 13-year-old daughter. I make her watch some of the episodes because I think it's American culture and it's necessary. When you guys got into that, you had no idea the impact that would have, did you?
No. All we knew was that we were going to be a strong ensemble. And we were led by Gary Marshall, who is actually my Don. I mean, I kiss his ring. And he started a softball team. Gary Marshall did. So on Sundays, the entire team, Marion Ross included, would go to the park. We would play other shows. And the family that plays together stays together. So it was his intention to keep us as a very strong unit. And we worked hard. We played hard. We traveled all over the world for the USO, playing against American soldiers in Germany, in Okinawa, everywhere. It was just great, just a great time.
Well, and everybody was so strong. I mean, Richie Cunningham, if you want to put it that way, with directing and things like that, and virtually every character.
Yeah, his new film is coming out in December.
Wow, yeah, I'm not surprised. You guys, an Italian American, I always get a kick out of how you played that role, and I think you had that classic. You were one of the first people that did that tough guy with a softness. Where did you come up with the inspiration for that?
You know, I just made some assumptions that, first of all, he was somebody that wasn't even close to who I was. So I got to play the tough guy who you always dream about being. And he was loyal to his friends. He was vulnerable. Because I thought that the more emotion, then it's easier to identify, and it seemed to work out pretty well.
Well, give me one story about, we're always hearing the story about you couldn't get on your motorcycle, you couldn't wear a leather jacket. I mean, is that all urban legend, or is there truth to that?
No, that was true. ABC would not let me wear leather because they thought I would be associated with crime. So Gary Marshall made a deal with the network that if I was by my bike or on my bike, I could wear leather because it was like protective.
Wow.
So that's how that started. I couldn't ride a bike because I'm so learning challenged. I couldn't figure out the clutch and the speed and the handlebars, and it just was too much for me. I couldn't do it. So I rode. I think in the 10 years we did the show, I rode a total of 22 feet. Truly, honest. That's true.
You know, you guys have invented so much from that. Even the term jumping the shark obviously came from you doing that, right?
That was a guy who was in his dorm. His name is John Heim. He's on the radio now. He's got his own radio show. Very nice guy. He was in his dorm at the University of Michigan. And he and his roommate came up with the phrase, jumping the shark, when they thought a show had overstayed its welcome. But it didn't bother us because that was in the 4th year of Happy Days, and we went on for 10 years. So apparently nobody else thought we jumped the shark.
Well, give me one story, Henry, if you would, about when it's well documented that you came from immigrants and that kind of thing, and, you became this, like, super famous guy. When did you actually know, I can call my family or my loved ones and say, I made it at, like, a certain level here? I mean, All
right. So we're doing the show. My parents did not want me to be an actor. They wanted me to take over the family business. They were livid that I wanted to be an actor. So I make my first appearance in Little Rock, Arkansas. I was paid $1,000 to fly down there and sign autographs on a Saturday at the mall for the newspaper in Little Rock, Arkansas. I get off the plane 11:30 at night, Friday night, after we shot the show. I go to my hotel, I get off the plane, and there are 3,000 people in 50s dress screaming my name. It was a shock. I didn't even know what they were doing. I didn't know they were there for me. I thought I was interrupting somebody else's party. That was the first time that I ever knew. People were watching it, and they were fans.
Wow. And I know most people, they think of you with the thumbs up and the A and all that. For me, the epitome of Fonzie was when you would walk in the men's room and not comb your hair because you were already too perfect. Was that
where
written
that came from? That came from I made a deal with myself that every character, like the Fonz, every actor, always combed their hair. They always had a comb available. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to see if I can make this guy come alive and not do what everybody else does. Now, it's written in the script that the Fonz goes to the mirror and combs his hair. I went, yeah, but I made a deal with myself, and they said, doesn't matter. The producer wrote it. You do it. So I walk to the mirror. I pull out my comb. I go up to comb my hair, and I realize I don't have to. It's perfect. And that's where that moment came.
Well, you've done something amazing because you've managed to not be typecast, Henry. I mean,
well, that was not easy.
You know, how did you do that?
Let me tell you, I didn't get a lot of calls, so that's when I started producing and directing. And so we ended the show in 83, and I started really acting again in 91.
Wow, but you pulled it off, man. And I want to thank you for all the memories. I know people are waiting to talk to you. Henry Winkler, go check out Fake Snakes and Weird Wizards, and thanks for being entertaining with us today, Henry.
It will make your children laugh.
That's all we can ask for you. Thanks so much,
you.
Henry
What a
Winkler.
wonderful conversation. Thanks.
I appreciate that, sir. We'll do it again.